So we're back with another dog. We sort of ended last time finishing off the sort of enemy design. So it looks like the different chocobo bardings. Personally, I found a lot of these kind of silly, very implausible, and some of them made sense. And like the base idea made sense, but like about like just I have to admit, the fat chocobo did sort of grow on me. At first, I found it sort of borderline offensive, like the whole, dangling food in front of it to get it to run. But this was one of my favorites from this expansion. They were, I hated all the sort of tribal areas, and this was the only one I really grinded that much specifically for that. I actually do not remember that mount. Let me have some companions we saw in an earlier section, so I wonder why they weren't saved for here. I feel like 14 does have just really great companions overall. One of the greatest right there. And like the miniature faction leaders were some of my other favorites. It's kind of funny. I believe that one is exclusive to this book. There's a code for it. At least I think that's the one. So I did like their wind up Odin because he'll do his Zanketskin every now and then. It's a very vicious one. Now this was something that surprised me. Well, I guess since I really didn't know at what point of development this was published, but I believe housing, or at least I remember at least I thought I remembered, it kind of being a promised feature, but then it wasn't implemented, and I thought it was actually maybe something like 2 years after release before they implemented it. So I was very surprised to see all this art here, since usually these sort of material books, they're compiled and published coinciding with the game's launch usually. So I was very surprised to find some of these materials that would have been well into the mid of the life of the expansion included here. This was the very first piece of concept art I had drawn for the housing areas. My request to the art team contained a number of keywords: European style, ocean, resort area, chalk white houses, blue sky. It's an important piece that established the overall artistic direction for all the housing areas. Yoshi P. Conceptual layout for the entrance to Mist. I worked in stairs and waterway. Saito. This plaza was originally going to be flat, but considering events that might be held here, the opted for this design with a lower level in the middle. I think it'd be perfect for a fireworks show. Designed for the aqueduct that runs through the center of Mist, I added this to give each residential area its own distinctive feel. It supplies water to each of the houses. Saito. Tried to give the Mist residences a fresh and breezy atmosphere befitting an oceanside resort. This estate has a wood and tile motif. This design features white stone walls in the Noskin style, with a roof shaped like the underside of a ship. Give this one a slate roof. I took great pains to give each estate a distinctive look. Early image of the foyer. The actual implementation changed later on, so what you would see in the game is a bit more spacious. The second piece of housing area concept art I ordered following Limsa. My request was straightforward: a forest with a massive tree and the land nestling up to it. In the modeling stage, it turned out a bit too plain, giving us quite a challenge. Yoshi P. A plaza atop a giant tree stump. I really wanted to be able to walk across the stepping stones, so I was glad that made it in. Saito. Here are the roots of the great tree that is symbolic of the area. A street corner in the lavender beds. In the game, the ground has tiles, giving it quite an opulent feel. System limitations required that the number and location of windows be the same for each model. I had to add a variety elsewhere, which was quite a daunting task. Gave a lot of thought to how to balance a rustic forest look with the colorful decorative elements characteristic of Gridania, Hama. As lavender beds are surrounded by lush greenery and water, I went for designs that conveyed harmony with nature. This estate has a thatched roof. Cited. Considered a number of designs for the composite mansion before finally settling on this one featuring wooden tiles. Oda was the final piece of concept art I ordered for the housing areas. I was worried that players wouldn't want to live in a bleak desert region. I had my laundry out to dry and now it's covered in sand. So we added windmills and waterfalls. It wasn't easy, Yoshiki. Now, I'm not sure if I ever went in this one. Looks like a sort of Thunder Bluff-like. Well, except more built up, I guess. While I was drawing this, I hoped it would be a place of relaxation and refreshment, like an oasis in the desert, Kenta Tanaka. The giant windmill draws up water from the ravine. I personally like the black roads. Made predominantly of stone, this mansion has a palatial feel that is perhaps more typically Odan of the three. The general layout of the interior was already set. It's difficult to differentiate it from other city-states. The inspiration for this was a military fort with a wood motif. Wooden buildings are rare in Oda, so it was a challenge. A mansion of wood and stone, I went for an angular look to distinguish it from the rounded edges of the stone model. I experimented with various shapes and lavish designs to allow players to shop. Hama. I designed the kind of chair that I'd like to relax in at home. Kenta Tanaka. Looks like more of a cat bed than a chair. I thought it would have been interesting if Oda had something sophisticated, like a rotating bookshelf. Hama. I wanted the designs to evoke each city-state while still looking like something you could take a nice long bath in. I added a Lalafell-friendly stepping stair. Saito. It was quite a challenge to capture the distinctive Tonberry look through furniture. Kenta Tanaka. It's all round, befitting the Ariman motif. The singular Fowler vase just might have been inspired by an anime I was watching at the time, Yamate. be Flowers of Evil, would it? Was that around this time? Yeah, yeah, it would have been. I tried to preserve a sylphic quality while designing something that would be crafted by men. Kenta Tanaka. The planning team's internal name for this set was I Love Marbles. That was the first and last time I'd seen a name like that. Hama. Yeah, I think decorating like house with that would make it look like been taken over by some sort of eldritch being. And I do like marbles, but nowhere near that much. Someone on the team really likes Carbuncle, which I don't see the appeal that much. I mean, they're all right, but the amount of Carbuncle themed paid content they had, which I mean, I guess there must be a demand for it, otherwise they wouldn't have kept making it. Um, it's hard to tell from these sketches, but I went for a soothing look befitting Carbuncle Cassia. I don't know. I think it's pretty chill, most of it. The idea was the projected pattern would move and function as a timepiece, something which unfortunately didn't make it into the game, Saito. Table and chair with a holographic look reminiscent of a sci-fi movie. The chair is modeled after the spheres in the binding coil. A piece of elegant technology that evokes the mood of the final battle of version 1.0 when you step on it. This design was originally rejected, but eventually made it in. Step inside and imagine how Bahamut felt like he was imprisoned inside Dalamud, Yamate. Compact fountain. The water in the pool is circulated back up through the backside to fall again. Saito. I tried to capture the immense might of Ifrit with this design. Kenta Tanaka. To give it a light and airy feel, I reduced the surface area touching the floor and tried to give the cover material a fluffy, soft to the touch look. Hama. The idea here was of Titan's hand grasping the lantern, added a bit of Eastern flair, Yamate. I tried to capture the feeling of Leviathan bursting forth from the waves with a great splash. Saito. The white tassels dangling from each side weren't modeled after Ramu's beard. It's kind of weird and gross. But I was thinking they were like feathers or something at first, but ugh. Also, wouldn't it get all frizzy from the electricity going. I don't know. I went for the simple, rustic look of a Mughal doll attached to a mailbox. This design featuring the Good King is a personal favorite. Note the faces of his Mongol guard on the crown, Yamate. A behemoth coming forth from the wall. The frame is modeled after the beast's tail, Saito. I designed this thinking it would make a nice figurine. An alternate concept called for the sword splitting a moon into Yamate. The order called for a triumphal arc using Phlegethon's dimension blade. I opted for a straightforward approach. Kenta Tanaka took the throne from the crystal tower and added a few flourishes. Have a seat and you'll feel just like Emperor Zonde. I had a number of ideas before finally settling on one tabletop and one mounted piece. These are personal favorites of mine. I wish I had them at home. Saito. I went for designs that looked like they could be made in real life. What I wouldn't give for my own Mughal mat. This design I recalled a certain nostalgic ornament that often adorned the tops of televisions 30 or so years ago, Hama. The extravagant frames were designed to capture the feeling of each city-state. The portraits were painted by Tamai Yamate. So, started a bit late because we were like 15 minutes late with my food. But that looks like a little bit heavy for one more session, but it should be doable. So we'll come back most likely tomorrow and start on the final bit of this book. I do have to say I really like I think it's a perfect amount of commentary, at least for my purposes. Just enough to be meaningful. I feel like a lot of these books we've got, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just kind of like bogged down in the text and don't showcase the material as well. So I do have to say I'm enjoying this a lot more than I thought I would because I felt like I was, which I think I am right that I've seen a lot of this material elsewhere at this point, but it was nice revisiting it in a different format. And I think they really did a good job with this one, which is actually making me. I wasn't originally planning on making this a series, but there are a bunch of these. I think I only did this one for this expansion, but all the other expansions have like 2 books each. So there's quite a few of these, so I might be picking some more up. But yeah, that will be it for today.